Hi there, y'all. Long time no talk to. I've been going off and on about, man, if my internet's gonna not get any better and I can't stream, maybe I should just suck it up and do YouTube videos with crappy internet. And, I mean, it's not that bad. But anyways, and then, some people were leaving comments recently saying they miss me and they want me back, and here I am. Um, I've had so much fun in the beginning of the expansion, and I've had some fun adventures, and I just want to talk about them, and some interesting gold making adventures at that. And I've had a lot of WoW life changes recently, and I thought it would be fun to just kind of update y'all on where I'm at. And as far as my issue with making recurring gold making content is that, I have my tried and true strategies and they don't change that much. Yeah, like with the name of the item that I'm making might change, but it's always it's been pretty much the same thing since day one. Craft everything someone might want, sell it to them. So like the idea of making guides and stuff, unless there's some very like unique thing that I think that I can really bring something to the table for guides, like I feel like there's enough stuff out there that's guides. However, apparently people want to see content from me and I like that and I want to make content. And so what I was thinking is doing some sort of kind of, my week in WoW, kind of tell you guys what I've been doing from mostly from a gold making perspective, because that's obviously what I do. And then also from a what I'm doing elsewhere in WoW perspective and how that relates to my gold making, which as I do this video, perhaps you'll understand that a bit more. So this video though is going to be much longer than the future ones because we've got a lot to catch up on because it's the first. So we've got to catch you guys up to where I'm at now. Now, for those of you who don't remember, I played Alliance on Argent Dawn, and I still do. But let me go back to the pre-patch. All right. So I don't raid anymore. I used to raid, but for a lot of reasons, I decided raiding wasn't for me. Mythic Plus is now the way that I prefer to like really progress in this game. Mythic Plus is my interest, and I really wanted to go hard for Mythic Plus in Shadowlands. While I was playing around on my alt server, which was Proudmoore, I met a friend who also really wanted to push keys, and she didn't have anyone to really push keys on Horde side with, so I paid for her to transfer to Argent Dawn. By paid, in gold. Everything I pay, anything that Blizzard would accept gold for, I pay in gold. The idea of spending money on this game just blows my mind. Anyways, so she came over to Argent Dawn for the pre-patch, and we did keys with, because basically I'd already been running with 3 guys, so we had 4/5 of a group, right? So I was like, oh man, this is perfect. We're looking for a solid 5th, and so she came over, and we did a lot of pre-patch keys. It was a lot of fun. Of course, I was maining a Mistweaver monk at the time, but I decided just based on looking at the dungeon meta and the constant strength of Resto Druids, not even knowing how OP they would be in the Maw, but I decided Resto Druid, I would main Resto Druid in Shadowlands. So I switched to Resto Druid in the pre-patch and was healing keys there, having a lot of fun with keys. And my friend who'd come over from the Horde side and I decided we wanted to make a push for the Realm First 15 on Argent Dawn with our group. And not everyone was quite as everyone said that they wanted to do it, but like my friend and I were like, yeah, we're gonna no life it until we get it. Let's focus only on this until it happens. While other people were like, well, I still want to go to raid, and oh, I'm gonna level slowly and enjoy the story, which, all valid desires, but we had it in our mind that we're gonna push for this realm first, and as people who have done a race to any sort of firsts might know, those things usually don't align, so you need to pick your priorities. And so we leveled on Argent Dawn, leveled as quick as we could. We're doing keys. And what we found when we started getting into the 10s and 11s, the paladin tank, the tank we had was a paladin tank. And he's a good friend of mine. He's been tanking for me since Wrath of the Lich King. Well, actually, I tanked for him because he was a holy paladin back then. But anyways, bottom line, we've been together for a long time. However, as we started moving into these 10s and 11s, it became clear that it wasn't going to work out, because anyone who's doing 10s and 11s this week knows that that's when you really have to kind of start kiting your mobs and such, and it just does not work out to try and face tank them, which is all he really, what he felt that he had to do. And I mean, if you look on the IO rankings, there's a reason that they're pretty much all demon hunters. It's because demon hunters can do a lot of damage and build a lot of threat outside of melee. It's just flat out what it is because of gear levels right now. Prot Paladin probably couldn't get us to the Realm First 15. So my friend and I were like, all right, well, this obviously isn't going to work out for the Realm First 15. And we'd already been intending to go Horde side for a better Mythic Plus culture and more ability to pug and things like that. And we'd also already decided to Realm transfer. So we decided last night, I mean, we already decided. The decision was made long ago, but the button was pressed, if you will. Last night, I transferred my main for this expansion, which is a Resto Druid, and then all of my Horde characters. So I have a crafting army already to Horde on Area 52. Shout out to anyone who's on that server, because there are a lot of people on this server, so many people might be there. And I have been enjoying it so far. But it's been a very interesting gold making situation. I came over here. Well, first let's go back to that whole Realm First thing. Because I was so serious about it, and because I always get frustrated when I'm, doing group progress and I'm doing my best, I'm putting in everything I can, and then I see someone doesn't have a flask on or something. They say, oh, they're so expensive because it's the beginning of an expansion. So I was like, don't worry, guys. I'm going to pay for all of our consumables. I am bankrolling this entirely. I will, even if there's something that's really good for you that's a BOE, I'll buy that if we're doing this seriously. Commit to doing your best for me, and I will pay for this. And so I had put aside maybe 2 million gold for that purpose, not counting the gold I spent on my own BOEs for my own purposes. Things like that. I power leveled all of my professions, things like that. And so I did spend about 2 million gold. When the expansion launched, though, I didn't realize this was going to... So I leveled enchanting first, because enchanting and alchemy. And anyone who has an enchanter knows that if you were one of those first people who got level 100 enchanting, especially on a small server, because remember I was still in Argent Dawn at the time, you could make so much gold in those first few weeks, and you still can, though it's kind of evening out now on most servers, because you needed, I think, around 15 eternal crystals in order to max enchanting. So it was very difficult, and there weren't any, People could only run so many Mythic Zeros a week. Most people who were getting Mythic Zero loot was going to use it, not disenchant it. So the idea of a crystal entering the economy, that's why people were farming that one rare in Bastion for so long, was that the crystals were 15,000 gold a piece on my server. I spent 279,000 gold on crystals alone to level enchanting. And I was like, oh man, I hope this pays off. And I made that gold back within 20 minutes. Because once you have max enchanting, you can make enchanted Elithium bars, enchanted callus hide, I think is what it's called. Enchanted callus leather, maybe. Anyways, the enchanted leather and the enchanted cloth, all of which was needed to make legendary blanks. And to make those, the materials are cheap. So there was this very expensive gate to keep people out, but then once you got through that gate, everything was really cheap to make. So the margins were just humongous because there was no one competing. So I haven't actually looked at TSM, but if I were to guess how much profit I made, technically, which you'll hear that story in a moment, but technically I believe I made about 8 million gold in profit in the past 2 weeks, which was great, considering I also was able to, I've already capped a few characters and geared a few of them, and I've tried and done lots of Mythic Plus, so doing that while also being able to make a lot of gold has been great. That said, they finally got me, guys. Those people, I imagine they're on every server, they're certainly on Argent Dawn. They've always got that one asshole who goes to, every material, every single, piece of silk, every piece of leather, and they post up 1 or 2 for 500,000 gold each. And you see him, and you know what that guy's trying to do, right? He's trying to take advantage of the fact that if you type in how many you want in the auction house, it will automatically fill it all the way up. Let's say there's 500 in the auction house and you say you want to buy 550, it will select all of them. And if you're not careful and you're buying very quickly using the default UI, you will end up buying that if you have enough gold. And that guy's been around since the auction house changes on my server. And every time I was like, you're not going to get me, guy. I'm not stupid. But he finally got me. I was buying leather to make armor kits for the Realm First pushing, and I was just in such a hurry, and I was using the default UI to buy instead of TSM, and I ended up spending 2 million gold on 4 pieces of leather. And it annoyed me. It still annoys me, but not too much, not too badly. So it's like, ooh, it half frustrates me and half impresses me. And I mean, I hope that guy's super happy. I'm sure he is. It's like, that's a really dick move, but I fell for it, so that's on me. I'm just thankful that, you know, I was like, oh man, 2 million gold on 4 pieces of leather. God damn it. But also, whatever. I was still capped. I was still over capped by quite a bit. So I cared on principle, but not from a practical standpoint of I couldn't afford to lose that gold. I just, you know, it's like when you get taken advantage of, or, you know, someone cons you out of something. Even if it was the smallest little thing, you're still upset just because you've been had, kind of a thing. So that was my only real irritation, and I would like to say that it's gone, but I think you've probably heard in my voice that I'm still a little bit irritated, and probably will be till the day I die. But it is what it is. So when I say that I've made 8 million gold, so 2 million got lost to that. I gave my friend who transferred to Alliance to play with us in pre-patch. I also funded her transfer back to Horde, as well as my own transfer, including transferring all of my Horde alts from one server to another. And I bought my own BOEs, etc., etc. So I am actually only gold capped on Argent Dawn now. I only have 10 million on Argent Dawn, despite the fact that at one point in this patch, I think I was up to like 17 million. And I've just been hemorrhaging it. But I came over to Area 52. And this server, you guys, Argent Dawn has been great because while the sales are relatively slow compared to other servers, the margins are usually humongous. Even if I'm getting competition, most items that do sell will sell for a minimum of, like, and of course, you know, this will vary by market. But, you know, anything I'm selling is probably a couple hundred gold profit, at least. While on Area 52, things are selling faster than I can keep them in stock. Like, I will do a whole run through my crafters and go back to the top one and have to do it all again. And I could do this all day and night and never have a break if I wanted. I could just keep selling and keep crafting no matter what I do. So eventually I do just have to say, all right, that's enough. If I'm not selling something for a few hours in a day, it's not going to kill me. And, but the margins are shit. Like, I'm making like 10 gold on some items, 6 gold on others. And I'm not sure what's typical for this server. I'm going to guess that this is pretty typical because it would make sense given how many players are here that competition should drive things to be just, you know, kind of right around there. There really shouldn't be any huge margins at this point. But we will see what happens. And I still have all of my characters on Argent Dawn to make gold. And in fact, I actually power leveled enchanting on a second character, which was a whole nother like 200,000 gold on crystals. But a little bit cheaper this time, but not by much. So that I could keep making all my gold on Argent Dawn, so that'll cover all of my, you know, WoW time and things like that. That's my play gold now versus Area 52. That's my real gold. And I transferred over with 500k, and I'm up to 2 million, and I've been here for a day. So, like, that's great. Happy about that. And I'm just doing the same thing I always do. I've got every profession maxed or close to it. I'm not touching legendary blanks at all because I'm the only character that, well, I've got a few capped. The only character that I've done like a lot of like storyline stuff in order to get to the point that I could get blanks is a Enchanter Alchemist. So no blanks from me, but I do make quite a bit of gold supplying the materials that are required to make the blanks. So those enchanted leather, enchanted bars, shadow guest ingots, things like that. I make quite a lot from that, and then just crafted stuff. Jewel crafting is really big for me right now. I don't know why jewel crafting is so nice, but it is. Like, I imagine people are trying to boost their item level to get into heroics or something that are like that. So as soon as they hit 60, I was about to say 120. As soon as they hit 60, they buy rings and necks, I guess. I think a lot of people don't like being 60 and seeing a Heart of Azeroth in their neck slot. But hey, it's a good neck. Anyways, yeah, jewel crafting's big for me. Inscription, obviously, missives were huge. Don't forget that if you need tranquil ink, Nightshade may seem really expensive to mill, but it's going to give you way more tranquil pigment than milling common herbs. So it might be worth it. Check your actual price breakdown Let's see here. Trying to think of anything else that I want to keep y'all updated on for my my new server and everything. I don't think so. Essentially, just one of the things that I would say is just, as you're playing the game and looking for what you need, consider that. So, anytime that I need something, I probably buy it off the auction house, like materials or something. And I think, okay, well, why do I need this? If I need an enchant, why do I need an enchant? Is it because there's a world quest up that gave me a weapon that I need an enchant for? Maybe it's time to sell weapon enchants because everyone else has this particular world quest as well. Granted, it might not be a weapon for everyone, but it will be for anyone of my class. Right now, there's a cooking quest up for aetherial meat, or whatever aetherial meat is called. I forget what it is. Anyways, aetherial haunch, who knows? Anyways, so it's really cheap today because everyone's doing that quest and then selling it. So if you use it for cooking, today's the day to buy it. As you play the game, just start, looking for things that you run into in the game, which would either drive prices up or drive prices down. Take advantage of that. And that's really all I've been doing to make gold, crafting and taking advantage of weird spikes or dips in demand and pricing. So yeah, I'm gonna try and do one of these once a week. My plan is to do them on Sunday. I know I'm getting this one up on Monday morning, but it's because I got the idea on Sunday afternoon, so had to record some footage and stuff. But I think I want to do like a My Week in WoW Sunday series sort of a thing where I'll just talk about what I did from gold making, kind of what my gold making progress is like, any notable markets that have been good or bad for whatever reason, and then also probably keep you guys updated on my Mythic Plus adventures and Torghast and things like that, so that we can all just stay up to date. It's like how when people send out Christmas cards of what all their family's been doing. Now you get to find out what Fade's been doing. As I was saying that, I thought of one more thing I wanted to say. Oh yes, let's see here. I'm actually in game right now. Let me open up my calendar. Here's my super hot tip. Just gotta confirm the day. Yep, tomorrow, as of the time you guys might be listening, so the 15th of December, the Shadowlands dungeon event begins. So people are going to have quests to do Mythic Zeros. The Mythic Zeros are going to drop one additional piece of loot at the end. So this is going to create kind of an interesting dynamic, and it did in Battle for Azeroth as well. Keep in mind that since people are being pushed into Mythic Zeros, there's going to be a lot more crystals being generated because people are being forced to run Mythic Zeros, so they might have more stuff that they're disenchanting. However, on the flip side, people are going to far more than that, especially at this point in the expansion, when most people would be getting upgrades from Mythic Zeros. People are going to be enchanting and gemming that stuff a lot more. So we should be able to see a spike in demand for enchants and gems tomorrow. Well, yeah, tomorrow, next week, basically. And that might be blunted somewhat, but as from a price perspective on enchants, by the fact that we might see some significant dips in the pricing of Eternal Crystals. So if you have Eternal Crystals, I don't know if I would necessarily hold on to them to sell after next week. I don't think we'll ever see them at a price quite as high as what we'll see right now, because after the Mythic Zero, from then on, we should start seeing a lot more crystals in the market, since people will, because not only are people experiencing them, they're just being forced into Mythic Zeros that week, but as long as they complete them, they will then say, oh yeah, I can do Mythic Zeros, and they'll be more likely to run them in the future. And so I believe that crystals are essentially at an all-time high right now, barring a small spike at the beginning of next week and on the weekend for this first round of mythics that needs enchants. So take that information what you will, turn it around in your mind, figure out what you want to do about it, and I will see you guys next week. Oh, addendum. If you guys end up having anything you want me to talk about, address, questions you have about gold making or about what I'm doing or anything like that, things you see on the screen, let me know in the comments, because I can also make these a sort of Q&A sort of thing, not too different from my old Lightcast kind of podcast situation where people would submit questions. So if you have questions, feel free to share them below. Thanks, guys.